Yo ho ho! What's going on, guys? This is a One Punch Man chapter 137 review. Today we're going to be covering Residence. I'm about to bring out this chapter on Christmas Eve, a well-appreciated, long-awaited gift. So let's focus on some of the main points of this chapter and some of the pivotal information that Murata was trying to convey to us. If you want to support this channel and help us grow, make sure that you click the like button and subscribe. Comment below what your opinion is on the topics that we discuss in this video. One of the first and most important points that I think is connected to further storylines is Bang and Child Emperor. Now, we saw previously before the invasion that Child Emperor didn't really have the most trust in Bang. And there were some other individuals who had the same doubt. But it was mostly in regards to Bang's ability to actually confront the issue, to actually bring down Garou, because it's his disciple. Well, while that doubt was founded in some truth, I actually believe it was completely founded in all truth. Now Bang is attempting to reassure Child Emperor and the rest of the group out loud that there's nothing to worry about. Coincidentally, this is almost exactly the method or the stance that he took in regards to Genos whenever Genos confronted Garou. So now I think we're at an impasse, or I think we're at a duplication of the previous scenario. Do we continue to trust Bang, or is it clear now that he's not going to kill Garou? Like, we saw what he did to Garou, we saw him go ham, just punish him, but Garou survived. Now, is that a question of Garou's durability in contrast to Bang's offense? I mean, we saw what Bang and Bomb together could do to Elder Centipede, and we saw what them together could also do to Rover. I don't think they were really in a position to not kill Garou. I think they chose to. I think they chose to not kill Garou. These are the same individuals who have proved it to us. Not only did Child Emperor assume it, not only the second guard confirm his assumptions with, agreed suspicions, we've actually seen it happen on screen. So this is why I feel like this scenario here, where Bang is confronting Child Emperor, and then reassuring him that it's okay to have those doubts, they're reasonable, but I can reassure you that I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm not sure if confronting him would have been something that I would have done. I'm not sure if I would have brought that up to the light. I'm not sure what the scenario that's next going to unravel in regards to Bang and Child Emperor. I don't know, because it seems like Murata's trying to excuse Child Emperor by having him, have his head down, because he's definitely had the change in demeanor with the redraws. So I'm not sure if this is a passive aggressive confrontation from Bang, or if Bang is capable, has the balls, or willing to actually confront the heroes in defense of Garou. That's really the final scenario that they're talking about. It's really the final scenario that they're presenting. Like, oh, we're scared that you're not going to be able to kill Garou. We're scared that you're going to do something to impede us. That's really what they're talking about. That at the end of the day, there could be a scenario in which Bang decides to protect Garou from the heroes, because he's already doing it. He already did it to Genos. He already protected a Garou from Genos. We saw what happened. He came in flying with a kick right when Genos was going to blast him. I'm not saying that he was going to die from that, but Genos was going to blast him. I wouldn't be surprised if now that all the heroes are back together on the surface, and we begin the second phase of the assault, whether it's going back down or going up the tower that Tatsumaki's built up, or whatever the case may be, whether the monsters come out to fight them, once again, someone else will be in the position to fight Garou. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bang happens to tag along with or be in the vicinity of the strongest individual or the most dangerous individual in regards to that, whether it's Atomic, whether it's a Dark Shine rematch, whoever he decides to stick with. Maybe he decides to stick with his brother and Fubuki and they stay together. Maybe the new Fubuki group stays together. Maybe they don't even split up, right? All I'm saying is that I don't think it would be crazy to see Bang once again save Garou from a devastating hit from somebody. And this time it may be in front of all the heroes. Bang can't afford that. So Bang's future may be in question in regards to the end of this arc. If multiple heroes see him questioning his resolve, even taking, I don't want to say treasonous, I think it would be treasonous, but contrary action to the rest of the group in order to save Garou or prolong Garou's life or allow him to escape, I think for a fact multiple of the heroes should lose trust. I know that we're going to this like a lot softer and explanative format to where like Murata's telling you what everybody's feeling instead of just drawing it and showing us and us inferring it. He's having to tell us now. I don't know why he's doing that. Like, maybe the heroes will accept it and be like, it's okay, we understand, it's lovey-dovey, it's whatever like that. Sure, maybe Garou will get a chance to survive and live. But if it were me, I believe that this scenario will either end in the heroes losing tremendous faith and trust in Bang because he put his personal feelings before the mission, or Bang will literally, like, he'll literally fight the heroes. But that's just one question. That's just one part of the chapter. Another part of the chapter was pivotal and it moved a storyline or a narrative that I actually like think is founded or is well built. And he's done it sparsely, but I appreciate how sparse it's been. It's Tatsumaki Genos relationship. That whole narrative there. Now, from the beginning, when we first see Genos interacting with Tatsumaki and Saitama before the hero meeting, they don't have the friendliest of interactions, and we see the little like banter between them. And then after, immediately when Tatsumaki attacks Genos whenever he's talking junk to her, once again in regards to Saitama. So we see that they have that little like banter there, but it was never really hinted to like there being more affection or that she cared in particular for Genos or noticed Genos at all. There was even the time where he was like, oh, I'll help you. And she said, I don't need your help. So he just cooled off right before, or during the assault by Boros. So we've gotten little sparse, little like interactions between them throughout the storyline. I almost expected like King to be the one that like she has affection for because of like her demeanor in regards to him. But here we go, like Genos has not only been saving Tatsumaki this entire fight, but once again, when she's in a precarious situation, he comes out of nowhere and protects her. I guess he's like the guardian. So after this arc, once they're not in danger anymore and once Tatsumaki has time to reflect, are we supposed to expect like an acknowledgement of Genos? Maybe not in regards to strength, because we know how stubborn she is, but maybe in regards to feeling. Maybe she'll soften up towards Genos a little bit more, and then we'll see what's going on there. I'm not necessarily saying that like we'll start to see Genos stop hanging out with Saitama and start hanging out with Tatsumaki a little bit more, and then that turns into like a little like, Genos, where you at, Genos? Saitama's like calling from her or anything like that. Like that would be cool to see. That would probably be a natural progression to where like, instead of seeing Genos around Saitama all the time bugging him, then oddly enough, we don't see Genos around for a few chapters and Saitama's like, where the hell is Genos? And then he's sitting there hanging out with Tatsumaki. That'd be cool to see. But it's also cool to see how much attention Murata's forcing us, and one is forcing us to pay attention to in regards to Genos and Tatsumaki. I'm also excited to see what other scenarios they're going to interact with together. Just the fact that Genos is here and still fighting and intact, hyped up in reaction, is amazing. It's amazing. This confirms all the hype that we were putting on him before, all the speculation that we were talking about for months. I think he was even years on end when we first got the Daedric Genos design, where he was walking down the city hallways, and we hadn't seen it. We hadn't gotten any more stuff, and then Genos popped up out of nowhere. We started seeing him fight guys out there on the surface, and now he's finally here. He helped Tatsumaki, saved her, and the speculation was that after the 10-second mode, he'd be done. It was too powerful of a form. It'd be a one-off attack and it'd be out of there. But it turned out that it was an entire mode for 10 seconds and multiple attacks, an entire battle sequence. He was actually pivotal in the fight up against Sairochi. And now his body's intact. So I'm excited to see what other capabilities Genos has in this state. Can he fight like a Garou type? Like, is my long desired Garou versus Genos rematch possible if Genos remains in this current state? Will it even be a threat for Garou? Like, how powerful is Genos right now? And in the same conversation, just to slip it in there because I wasn't really gonna mention it, but how strong is Drive Knight? You know, before we had a confrontation up against Neon, and he mentioned, and this is a particular point that we use in debates, that hey, if I didn't have prep, it would probably be a lot tougher to beat Neon, like a lot tougher. Not to say that he couldn't beat him, but it would be a lot tougher. So now he's not necessarily monopolizing the fight up against Garou because it's a fight. You know, they're having a dogfight up there. They're maneuvering him around. She doesn't necessarily seem too like hurt, but she's definitely like running away. She's definitely being chased, and she's having to take opportune moments in order to attack Tatsumaki or to do something else. So that shows you that like Drive Knight is putting pressure on her, and you wouldn't necessarily have like or be nervous or be running away if like you were stronger than the person putting pressure on you. That's not One Punch Man. That's not even Sairochi. That's not even Garou. It's not Orochi. They don't run this way. So how weak has Sairochi gotten? And Drive Knight, is Drive Knight showing just more of his abilities, or is he stronger? We got to see a new form where we had this like beam cannon thing that was flying in front of him as he was flying along, and it helped clear the debris that was in his path that Tatsumaki was inadvertently putting there. But regardless of that, he's still pretty fast, incredibly maneuverable. His ability to change forms as quickly as we saw before is coming in great handiness now. He's going into that big form to block a bunch of those attacks, even though he missed one of the missiles. He's going back into the jet and speeding. He was even able to turn to his bike form to drive along the tower before he had to like jump back up and get into a good position to get back on Sairochi 6. Like, he's been incredible in the pursuit of Sairochi. And it's obvious as to why it's for. He even mentioned it in this chapter that like, oh man, if Tatsumaki hadn't gone overboard, I could have really gotten some great research material. Clearly implying his intentions. But it's great to see that the cyborgs are putting in work, and the rivalry that's been implemented of these two since the beginning of Genos and Drive Knight is taking more shape. I am that individual who's just going to continue to pretend that, well, no, let me not say it like that. We have, like I've been saying, we had confirmed proof that Genos is above Dragon, and it's in his entirety. Maybe now in this other form where he doesn't have the 10-second mode, he's going to be a high Dragon, but he's definitely just as capable as he was before. So I don't think that Drive Knight can beat Genos, but he's definitely being very, very impressive in regards to the chase of Sairochi. And because Sairochi's current power level is ambiguous, we know she's not above Dragon anymore. I wouldn't even call her a high Dragon. And that puts her somewhat within the range of Drive Knight, which is fine. It's not too crazy to assume here, but it's still worthy of questioning, you know, how strong is Drive Knight? Because he seems really impressive in this fight. Monata's doing an amazing job drawing him. You know, especially this chapter, the whole jet thing wasn't bothering me as much because the scenery was amazing. But it is what it is. Now, another important part that we got to that's also connected to Drive Knight, but there's another more important part as well, is Tatsumaki's backstory. So we haven't gotten this for a lot of characters. Most heroes we haven't gotten before. We get it sometimes in their big pivotal fights or when they're having crucial moments, but a lot of the heroes we really haven't gotten that strong or this base of a backstory for. And that's not to say that it was an entire chapter's worth, but it hit some really in-depth points that we got alluded to a few chapters earlier whenever Tatsumaki was behind the jail cell. But in this chapter, we get to see what the threat was that was attacking the scientists. We get to see the ruthlessness of the decision-making of the scientists, how they're cold, calculated, deciding which individuals are preferred and which ones aren't, solely based on the successful capabilities or the successful prospects of these scientific projects. Like, it's crazy, and you can't. They're obviously saving some, but you know why the reason that they're saving them for. And then we get the reveal that like Tatsumaki does have some pretty competent capabilities, but she's choosing not to fight. Whether it's fear of these individuals like using her power up against her will, or whether it's like she's still traumatized from what we learned in a few. It's incredible. I was not expecting that at all whatsoever. This is indeed the principal reason why she didn't want to use her powers. But she did mention the whole, I don't want them to use their power against her, or use her power against her will. So we'll give that secondary claim. Tatsumaki was sold by her parents, which is incredible. Is that the same case for Fubuki? Was Fubuki the chosen one or the chosen child that was kept? I don't think so. I think Tatsumaki indeed protected her sister. But does that mean that, like, I think it really does imply that both Tatsumaki and Fubuki were sold. Sold to who? Was it for trafficking? Like, once again, I've mentioned this several times in the past few weeks. This is a seinen, so we will be having to address adult topics, and they will be bringing up adult topics. So it's kind of intense to see that's the root of Tatsumaki's past and her dilemmas. But in that same flashback, we got a review of Blast. And to see Blast confront that issue, now the second hero who he's confronted, it seems like he's going to be showing up in multiple backstories. I wouldn't be surprised if almost all of the heroes have a significant, like, moral stance that they now hold because of an interaction with Blast. And if that's the case, he's really doing or gonna go deep in order to, like, paint a picture of who Blast is or set it up for us. Now, is this because Blast is dead? Is this a memory because of something that happened? Did a huge occurrence or a fight or something happen that forced Blast to leave, and now it's ambiguous whether he's alive or not? Like, because Blast isn't around. We've talked about it before, how if there would be a time for Blast to show up, it would be here. All these flashbacks are making me think that maybe Blast is dead. The weird part about Blast showing up is holding a box. This box obviously looks like something that DriveNet would be interested in. If you recall back to the incident where DriveNet was calling for Blast, it makes a whole lot more sense as to why he would be inquiring about Blast. Blast also said that he was doing a job and that it wasn't necessarily being a hero. So maybe the dialogue messes up here, or maybe this was supposed to be purposeful. But either Blast has a job outside of hero work, or Blast was on a mission outside of this particular mission. But I think for a fact, we now have evidence to be able to speculate that Blast may work for the association. Blast may be affiliated with the association, or Blast may be after the association. He has this, and remember the current association, excuse me, I keep saying association, the organization, keep saying organization, is inquiring about a Blast. And we now see an object that looks like it's DriveNet's in his hand. Maybe DriveNet's asking about Blast to get that item back. Maybe Blast took that from him. That's probably the prevailing theory. Blast isn't just mysterious in that manner, though. As he was instilling into Tatsumaki the admirable trait of self-reliance, which it seems that he also endowed within a mind mask, he touched Tatsumaki's head, and it seemed as if, like, he could picture what she was thinking of whenever he asked her, whenever she realized that she did have someone to protect. What a cute little sister you have. We all found the quote to be funny or peculiar with the inside jokes or whatever it was, but does this statement allude to psychic capabilities? Now, this is far-fetched, and we have to bring up every possibility, so I'm not putting my stock into this theory. But I'm interested to see what comes of that little sequence there. Meta did an amazing job with the art this chapter. As I said before, DriveNet flying around just with the scenery behind them, the angles they were taking, amazing. Putting the Sairochi fight all together is going to look spectacular. He's outdone himself. I'm excited to see what's going to come up next. I'm excited to see the other parts of this chapter. I'm excited to see my boy Atomic. Yo ho!